So, you think you love allocated whiskey? Well, I got some of it here, and I'm going to give it blind to the biggest celebrity I know. So if you want to see if he likes it, stick around. All right, Tony. So this is your third podcast.
My third visit with you, man.
Yeah, and which is amazing. You are the only person that's been on 3 times, I believe.
We need to start a little plaque.
Yeah, like a plaque, and your name would be on it for sure. So here's the setup. We have 3 highly allocated whiskeys. And Lindsay, who opted not to be on camera despite the fact that I begged her to come on.
I watched it. He groveled.
I did grovel, and she said no. And so she poured these for us blind. So you can confirm we have no idea which of these are in which glass.
No, exactly.
I did make him leave the room. Yeah.
We left the room.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, we both left the room, yes. Although I don't think it's going to be hard for me to determine which one is in which, but I'm curious to see how you like it. Mm-hmm. A little backstory. So Tony is a musical artist. He's had a very long career. We know who he is because he started on the Mickey Mouse Club, and correct.
The mighty have fallen.
Correct me if I say anything that's too crazy off.
Yeah, no.
Give me some marketing puffery, okay?
Yeah.
But I'm gonna give the spiel for Tony Lucca.
Totally cool.
All right, so Mickey Mouse Club. There he is on with Justin Timberlake, and what's the really good looking one?
There are a few, but
the guy, the other guy.
JC Chazet from NSync.
Yeah, JC from NSync. Ryan Gosling. Yeah,
the handsome man.
The handsome one, and then the girls were Christina, Brittany, and Carrie Russell, which was his kind of high school sweetheart. And while she had her TV show Felicity, they were dating, living together. So he has like countless crazy stories of like hanging out in Hollywood. Wrote like the wedding song for Kevin Costner and his wife.
We have covered some ground.
Yeah, like he like has been on Marc Anthony's private yacht. Mm-hmm. Like all like the craziest stories like you could ever think of. Like, and you were on The Voice.
Yeah,
and came in third. Was it third?
Third.
Third on some bullshit. We're gonna bleep that out.
Yeah.
Because. Christina had some beef or something, I don't know. But anyways, the story was not all that great, and he was not allowed to win as he probably would have. Still got signed with Adam Levine, so storied career. Is that a fair...
That is a perfect word for it.
Okay. Storied career. So, and every time we get together, he tells me another insane Hollywood story that I'm like, Jesus Christ, bro, I have recorded you for hours. How is this the first time I'm hearing the story? So that's why he's here. So let's drink some whiskey and talk. All right.
So wait, you said not in the same order? We're not going to taste the same one at the same time? Is that
No. I'm saying people sometimes drink like they read, and they'll drink 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, okay.
1, 2, 3. And it's like, okay, well now 2 tastes like 1 because you kept tasting it after 1. Mm-hmm. Right? So you can taste 1, 2, 3, but then taste 3, 1, 2, and then 2, 3, 1, or just move it around.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
Probably primarily responsible for the massive resurgence of bourbon that we're experiencing right now. Is that I know which one he tasted.
Holy shit. These two are very similar. This one was not at all similar.
So for those of you playing at home, try and guess whether or not it was Old Forester Birthday Bourbon, Van Winkle Lot B, or the Willett Purple Top that shocked him. Thinking about proof. So let's talk about proofs. So the Birthday Bourbon is 104. Mm-hmm. The Van Winkle Lot B is going to be 90.4, so it's a little bit lower. And the Willett Purple Top is a 7-year, and it is 121.8.
Okay.
And it is Dirt Road Anthem for those of you that are following along at home. Which I tried to look information up on this, and all I could find is like country music. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. This. I'm going to guess. Is that how this works? Do I guess at some point, or do you? I probably don't guess, right?
Probably for fun. Let's rank them 1, 2, and 3 for you.
Oh my god, that's so pungent.
Okay.
Like that's just like I gotta relocate my jaw.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh Lord. This is if I had to have you pour me a glass of one of these right now, I would go with number 2.
You're going with 2. Okay.
It's just it's subtle, soft. It's got like that buttery good texture. This first one here, similar notes, but just.
And when he says first one, he means the one on our right. I think your left.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
This would be something that tastes a little like higher proof, maybe a higher proof version of the middle.
Okay.
You know, they seem a bit similar. This one over here is Odd Man Out. It's got all of that leathery, tire tasting.
Okay, burnt tire?
Really,
little burnt tire in there for you?
Like
okay.
real, put hair in your chest kind of bourbon,
All right.
Maybe I'm crazy. But
no, you're not.
That's,
you're not.
That's
not the flavor that I get, but it is definitely a robust flavor. There's so much going on in there.
Yeah,
it's like, all right, well, maybe. Mm-hmm. All right. So can you confirm for me? Do you know which is which from where you're sitting, pretty girl? Okay, so just to confirm, and this is your number 1?
That's my favorite. Yeah.
And this would be your number 2, and probably this one's 3?
That one, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the middle one is Winkle Lot B. The third one is Old Forester Birthday Bourbon, and this one is the Willett Purple top.
When you said the Dirt Road
Anthem?
Yeah, I was like, well, that's...
That's got to be Dirt Road Anthem.
Rubber and the leather and the...
yeah. So, I have not been able to confirm, but this distillery has 2 sets of distillery equipment to make whiskey. Mm-hmm. They have a column still, which is what was used to make these 2 whiskeys, and then they have a pot still, which most American bourbons are not made on a pot still. That's like what they use to make Scotch and Irish whiskeys and rums. Okay. And it leaves a lot of the oils and flavor compounds that we call congeners in the whiskey. And so it's like way more robust. And I'm thinking that this has pot still whiskey in it, but I tried to look up the barrel number and I couldn't figure it out. But it's definitely a much bolder.
What's incredible though is like looking at this label. I mean, first of all, I wouldn't have guessed. This looks like I wouldn't have guessed that is a hardcore bourbon. First of all, but the second of all, I would have probably paired like. That like the Talladega Nights kind of thing. Something a little more like
So the backstory is that the Willett family's been in the bourbon industry for a very long time, and they're a large independent bottler, so they bottle whiskey for a lot of other companies. And for a long time they weren't making whiskey, they were buying whiskey from their friends and they were aging it and bottling it. And they ended up with some really high age, really high quality whiskey from other distilleries that didn't normally release whiskey at that age, right? Mm-hmm. And so they would buy stuff from Jim Beam and then age it way beyond what Jim Beam normally does, and then they'd release it, and people are like, holy crap, Willett's like really good. These people know how to pick good whiskey. Mm-hmm. And a lot of what they're releasing now isn't that higher age stuff. But as a result of their legacy of what they've been able to build, typically if somebody buys barrels from somebody else and sells them in their own label, like I do for the Prideful Goat, in this economy right now, it's usually around $12 per year of age is what the market expects, something like that.
Sure.
So a 6 years going to be $65, $75. People are happy with that, something like that. Yeah. This bottle, I think, was, I can't remember if it was $2.25 or $2.99, something like that. It's a 7-year. And typically their bottles trade on the secondary for $100 to $150 per year of age. And so there's so little of it, and people want it so bad because of the history. Okay. And so obviously, the history of Van Winkle.
Yeah.
I mean, their popularity is kind of what got the world to start paying attention to bourbon again.
Yeah.
And then Old Forester is, they have a lot of great products, and probably one of the most popular that people love is this one. It's Old Forester 1920.
Yeah, Prohibition style.
And so they have a series that are like the way that they made whiskey in 1890, 1897, 1910, 1920, and that's the Distillery Row series. But this is their annual release, and it's really good. Typically on a Old Forester product, I get a lot of like banana runts type flavors, but for this one, I get more cherry, which is interesting.
Which is what in rum they call the hogo.
Hogo, okay.
It's like the banana-y, when a rum gets like really robust, like a darker rum, some of the Jamaican rums, and even the French, like if it was a real punchy rum, something that's totally going to tweak the recipe of a mixed drink, they call that hogo.
Hogo, okay.
Which is kind of a cool thing.
So Jamaican rum, super different from everywhere else. Do you know why?
Well, I
do you know what a dunder pit is?
This rings a bell. I have read through all of this, but I did not retain it to memory.
So typically when you ferment in like some sort of a vessel, right? So in Jamaica they dig a hole in the ground and pour all the stuff in there, and then they're like, nature, come do your thing, and then stuff gets in the pit, and whatever gets in there, ambient yeast come in and eat up the sugars, dead birds, whatever happens to be there, right? And then hogo, right? And so Lindsay's favorite whiskey is Angel's Envy Rye, and I am involved in developing a brand that has rye whiskey. We decided to do a finish, and I was like, so I'm just going to, like the t-shirt, I want to wear my brown boots, so I picked a blue t-shirt, right? I want my wife to be happy, so if we're going to do a finish, let's make the one she likes, right? And then we're going to sell it to, 60,000 people, right? Because Lindsay likes Angel's Envy Rye, right? That totally makes sense. So we went to go get rum barrels, and everyone's like, we have Jamaica. And I'm like, no. No Jamaican rum barrels.
Please and thank you.
Yeah, so, all right, so let's, I don't want to go for too long.
Okay.
But if I had to ask you for a quick celebrity story that's like the most unbelievable.
Well, okay, that was probably the most unbelievable thing, was having toured with Marc Anthony and became pretty close friends over a very short period of time. At the end of the tour, he just wanted to kind of like hang out for days on end. He had a villa in the Dominican, and we hung out for a bit. And then he had this yacht up in Miami that after time in the Dominican, he wanted to just go spend some time on his yacht. He and his brother had recently bought a cay, like on their own island out in the Bahamas or somewhere, and they were going to Miami to outfit it, and they were going to go shop on a shopping spree, and he just wanted someone to come buy all this random stuff. He was doing very well at that time, I guess, and we were hanging out one night on his boat in the Miami harbor there, Marina, and he was telling me that he just bought this Hummer up in New York, and we were sitting down.
And this is when Hummers were brand new.
Yeah,
no one had one.
This was 2002.
Okay.
It was literally 20 years ago. And I just bought this Hummer. I'm like, what? Oh my God. He goes, yeah, and my nephew's going to drive it down from Harlem. He's coming down like when? Tonight. Like, what are you talking about? Seriously, his nephew had just driven through the night and the next day from New York and was going to literally drive it to the parking lot of the marina. And we were sitting there with some friends mid-movie, hanging out. He's like, and he had I think a 2A, a BlackBerry 2A, whatever it was back then. And he's like, oh, he's here, let's go. I was like, what are you talking about? Let's go. So we all put our shoes on, and we all go down the plank, we walk down the dock, and we go back to the parking lot of the marina, and there's this brand new black, incredible Hummer. It's like, wow, bro, you just bought that. That's super.
And
cool.
had someone drive it from New York to Miami.
And then this kid was like 17, 18 years old, and his homie gets out and they're like just like out of their minds. I'm like, wow. And he's like, let's take it for a ride. I'm like, cool. So I go to get in the back seat, and Mark was like, no, you drive. I'm like, no, I'm not driving. No, you drive. Like, so I had a girl that I was kind of like, trying to date there that I was with, hanging out there, and then he had his friend, and the two of them got in the back seat, and I got in the front seat with this girl that I was kind of courting at the time, and she was drop dead gorgeous. She was like this Puerto Rican bombshell girl, and she's sitting shotgun, and I'm driving.
And you're like, stick with me, babe.
And he wants to go down like Ocean Avenue. I'm just like, oh my God. I got this. Like try to keep my stuff together, and we're cruising, like, because you can't go too fast down the main drag there. So we're just like, like slow moving, try to act like
like you belong there.
Like I belong behind the wheel of a 2003, Hummer, fresh off the lot. Like who? Oh my God. And I just remember thinking, like, and I just looked back in the back seat, like, you sure about this? And
he's like, yeah,
it's cool, right? I'm like,
yeah, totally.
How would you know? I'm the one doing it. I was like, yes, this is so cool. Oh my God, it was just like, but there was one point where I was just like, everything kind of slows down to like that slow mo, just super slow, like. Oh my God, I just noticed everything. Like, I was like, wow, this is happening. I will never forget this. Yeah, that's probably if I had to go like the most ridiculous, you're never going to believe this kind of stories, that would probably be it, because that's pretty amazing.
All right, so we're going to keep this series going, and anytime that you see me talk about having the most famous person I know on the podcast, you should pay attention. Maybe next time we'll talk about how a mafia boss almost had him knocked off because of his daughter being in love with him. Or maybe next time we'll tell the story about how he kind of fell in love with Kevin Costner's wife. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But if this is your first time watching the podcast, I'd love to thank you for the view and also let you know we have a show philosophy that we like to share. And that is that we like to bring people together around bourbon. Because bourbon has a tendency to bring people together. And the reason why that's important to me is because I lost my brother to suicide in 2014. And in the aftermath of that, I was looking for opportunities to help create connection. Because I realized that my brother probably wouldn't have made that decision if he truly had a community that he felt like he belonged to and people that he could rely on. And that's part of the reason why I started this podcast, because I figured if I can get you connected to whiskey, the whiskey will do the rest of the job and get you connected to people, and then you have a family around you. But in the process of getting involved in the whiskey world, I saw the ugly underbelly of social media, and we call them whiskey trolls, Tony. It's like they're terrible. I don't know if their moms didn't hold them enough when they were a baby, or maybe they held them too much, but they're hateful to people online. But that made me realize that if they can hate you online, even though they don't know you, that there's nothing that keeps me from loving you online, even though I don't really know you. And that's why I end every podcast the same way, and that's this. If you woke up this morning and you're unsure whether or not anyone loved you, just know that I love you. We'll see you next time. A whiskey troll is a person who seeks negative attention and uses contrarian attitudes to derail civil discussion in online forums. They communicate in ways they never would face-to-face because they're keyboard warriors. Their only goal is to make other people feel inferior.
Hey guys, I'm new here. I just got my first Blanton's.
And trust me, you probably paid way too much.
I don't care much about the Blantons, but nice.
There's no way that she didn't buy that at secondary, idiot. Oh, I know how you got that bottle.
So, are you sick and tired of the whiskey trolls running your fun online? Well, that's why we started Bourbon Real Talk Community. Congratulations. Let me know what you think when you open it up.
Hey, welcome to the group. Let me send you over a sample of Blanton's Gold and straight from the barrel. See how you like those.
I remember back to my first bottle of Blanton's. It was the birthday to my son, and we enjoy it every year on his birthday. Congrats.
So if you're looking to connect with some people online who aren't, head over to facebook.com and join Bourbon Real Talk community today.